We're now going to do the direct materials budget. First row that we have to fill out is units to be produced. So we've already figured that out in the production budget. So we're going to put equals that, C39. Now let's try something. I think I could just copy this across, and yes indeed it automatically puts that down, but it does it, notice like on this D47 it says equals D39. So again, if we make a change in the sales budget, it'll follow through with this one. Now in the data and instructions, number C, it says Oneness Movement has a policy, no wait, let's see, I guess we want to go to D, of each month's direct material purchases. 20% are paid for in the month of the purchase, while the remainder is paid for in the month following the purchase. 3 pounds of direct material is needed per unit at $2 a pound, and ending inventory should be direct materials should be 20% of next month's production needs. So quantity of DM needed per unit is 3 pounds. So let's multiply equals 3 times units to be produced. Okay, and we can just copy that all the way across. Now the desired ending inventory, as you will recall, is 20% of the next month's production needs. So January, at the end of January, we want to have 20% of what we're going to need in February. So equals 20% times what we're going to need in February. Now I can copy this over to February, but I can't copy it over to March, because in March I'm going to need 20% of what I'm going to need in April. So let's fill this out for April. April's unit sales, if we go up, they were 9,000 and May's 86. So let's just put in here equals, and again you might be tempted to put the number in, but we want to put a reference so that if we change April's sales, that change will flow all the way through all of our budgets, and that equals May. Alright, so now the desired ending inventory, now what we're doing is the inventory in terms of units. So remember, we want for April, we want 10% of May. So equals 10% times May's sales. So the total that we need, let's just sum that up, and this is our total production. And it's the same as if I had, this is the production budget, it's for April, and I chose not to put it to the right of the quarter, but to put it in its own total, but that's what it is. So now what is our beginning inventory in April as far as inventory units goes? Well, it equals the ending inventory of March. So let's go up to March's ending inventory, and we get 900. So this is what we need minus what we have in beginning inventory. So 980 minus 900. We need to produce 8,960 units. Each one takes 3 pounds. So this equals 3 pounds times number of units. So we need 26,880 pounds for April. And remember, at the end of March, we want to have 20% of what we need in April. So up here we're going to put equals 20% times April's production. And now remember, the end of the quarter, March 31st, is the same as the end of March. So it's got to be 5,376. And it seems like the quarter columns are always where people get confused because they want to add things across when it doesn't make sense. For instance, units to be produced, you can add those across and you can add the total quantity. But whenever it's a beginning or an ending inventory, or like a beginning cash balance or an ending cash balance, you have to go with the day. You can't sum it across. So the total quantity needed is going to be the sum. Now notice it's including all 4, and I don't want it to include all 4. I just want it to be those 2. So I can adjust that. And then I can copy this over all the way. Now the beginning inventory of January was December's ending inventory. And at the end of December, they would have had 20% of what we needed in January. So let's go to equals 20% of January's materials needed. Okay, I messed that up. Let me try this again. Equals 20% times January. Okay, 5076. Now, the ending inventory of January becomes the beginning inventory of February. So again, this is the second time we've done this. And March, the ending inventory, or the beginning inventory of March is February's ending inventory. Now, at the end of the quarter, that's the same as at the end of March, because that's the last month. So we want that to equal March's ending inventory. Now, the quantity that we need is, if we need 31,302 and we already have 5076, then we can subtract. So this equals what we need minus the inventory that we already have. And we can copy that formula all the way across. I just realized I made a mistake here. This was asking for beginning inventory, and I put in the ending inventory, so I'm going to correct that. This should equal the inventory at the beginning of the quarter. That looks better. Now the cost per pound was $2, and we can copy that all the way across. And so the total cost of the purchases, and this is in dollars, is going to equal $2 times quantity. And I can copy that all the way across. So my total direct materials budget is written there. And the next one that we will do is the schedule of expected cash disbursements.